Hello guys and welcome to the first lesson of this course about how to become a web developer. This is David. I'm from Italy. I have lived in Romania for 3 years so far, but I have also had an experience in Amsterdam for 5 months, where I met some great programmers from ING Bank and who work for Cisco Systems, and so on. Basically, I want to start speaking about how you can set up your business, because these are things that are not very widely explained, and I think that having some advices in this part is very important, because otherwise you waste a lot of time for these things that are not strictly related to programming. But if you decide to work on your own, you have to know these things, because basically when you work on your own, you become the employer of yourself. So you are an employer and an employee at the same time. So let's start. I am David, as I said, and I am a web developer and a CEO expert. I did not graduate, but as I said, I actively worked over the past 3 years on the work field. Some projects I worked on. You can see Sapori del Pollino, SOS Amsterdam, SOS Bucharest, Adriano Agostini, and this website that I have developed recently along with other colleagues of mine. Yes, this is the website for the agriculture, for the Faculty of Agriculture of the University of Bucharest. And the new version that I worked on will be online kind of soon. And I took care of the front end, and I took care also of minor components, minor parts of the back end of the website that was made. Um, so, what are the skills that an entrepreneur must have? An entrepreneur, in my opinion, must have technical skills, business skills, and social skills. Technical skills are the skills that you can learn also by yourself if you Google around what is HTML, CSS, SAS, Angular, or whatever you need to learn. Business skills are the skills that you will need to develop as soon as possible, as you want to put into practice the technical skills that I said earlier. This means that you must be able to start up your company or your business in a legal form, which means that you must be authorized to make a contract with your clients, because unfortunately nowadays without contracts you can't start working. In order to make contracts, you must register yourself at the Chamber of Commerce as a physical person with an associated tax code, or with your own company. We will discuss it into details into detail in the next slides. Then you have to develop social skills, which means that basically you must be able to sell, and you have to become some sort of sales representative of your own. So you have to market yourself, and you have to market your skills and your abilities. And so this means that you also need to acquire a certain dose of empathy, because in order to get connected to other people and be in tune with and be on the same wave length of the other people, of the guys that you interact with, you must also acquire a certain dose of empathy, which is a social skill, one of the social skills that you must have. So, if you decide to be a freelancer, as I said, you must have a tax code to pay the taxes on your own work. Whereas if you decide to be a juridic person, you must basically open a limited company if you want to work as a juridic person. What are the advantages of working as a freelancer with the tax code as a physical person? Basically, it might be easier to keep your accountability because you won't need any particular software in order to keep track of the sales and of the costs and of the profit in the end. Or you can, and we have also some disadvantages, which are that if you mess something with a client, you are liable with your own goods for that. Which means that, for example, if you, I'm talking with an absurd case, but for example, you make a damage of 50,000 euro, a client can take over your house and also a part of your own bank account if you work as a physical person. You end up paying too much taxes because you will have also to pay for your healthcare, and you will have also to pay I mean with healthcare, I mean your public healthcare basically, because for example in Italy, unfortunately our system is not so good, and we have to pay for the public healthcare and for the private insurance, health insurance, and so this is one of the reasons why I left from Italy, because the services are not on par with the taxes that they pay. So too much taxes. You might be required a certification with the legal value of your skills, which means that basically you will need a high school diploma that states that you are a programmer, or you will need a high school or you will need a university degree that will state that you are capable of programming and will certify your skills. Uh, as you can see, with a limited company, you don't need any certification to provide any certification, but you don't pay as much taxes, but you will need to basically sustain higher accountability costs. You will need a separate bank account on the name of your company, and you will need some software to keep your accountability, because this is what the law requires. But for example, this is not the case in the UK, and in Romania I found out that if you don't have any particular needings, in reality you don't really need a software. You can use also the Excel to print the invoices. Okay, so now we'll compare UK with Romania. So basically, I closed my company here in Romania, and I opened my own company in the UK. This is because in Romania the taxation is lower than in the UK, but there are many disadvantages, which mainly are two: the high costs of the accountants and of the legal consulting costs, so to speak. So when you go to a lawyer and or to an accountant, you pay a lot of money, a lot of extra costs, and this is not possible. So I decided to close here and to go to open in the UK. So in the UK, you can register your company by yourself. The registration process is very easy. You don't need to go physically to the Chamber of Commerce. And given all the situation with the Brexit and so on, I suggest you that if you want to do this move, do it quickly, because if the legislation at some point changes, for foreign people, it might be harder to open a company in the UK. So move if you want to do this. Then we have, okay, so if you want to open a company in the UK, you will need a registered office, which is the office where your company lies, basically, where is located your company, where usually you receive the mail from the banks, from the institutions, etc., etc., etc. They usually provide you also a service that is made of mail forwarding. to your actual residence, and the price goes from the price range for this kind of services is from um, 2 to 350 euro per year. It depends on the options that you have. If you can also maybe go to the registered office in order to receive clients or not. So according to the different options that you choose, you might even reach 1,000 and something euro per year for this kind of service. This is a very cheap one that I used for the moment, and it's 20 euro per 20 pound per month, which is about 25 euro per month. And honestly, it works very well because I also received the mail at home, so I find their service is very good so far, as yet. So, taxation UK versus Romania. You can see that basically the taxation in Romania is 8%. When you want to work with the company, you will pay 8%. If you are not an employee, if you don't register yourself and as an employee of your own company, you will end up paying 8% instead of 27.50% that you will pay and that I will pay in the UK. But there is a but. If you are resident in Romania, at some point there are some advantages because beyond 38,000 euro of income, so basically if your sales are over 38,000 euro, you will basically pay a corporate tax always of 20%, but you will pay a dividend tax of 15%, instead of paying a dividend tax of 32%. So later on, when my business will increase, I will not pay 32.50 and I will pay just 15% on the dividends. And this is great because the costs, as you see, are lower than in Romania. Cioè, Romania that is more expensive than the UK. Oh, Romania, wake up. Wake up, Romania. We say in Italy, ca do nessuno è fes. It means that no one is stupid here. And in Romania, the tax, the costs, the fixed costs, accountability, and legal consulting expenses are very high, very high. So, so for you can see all the data here. Basically, the first year beyond the startup will cost you about 2,970 euro, and in Romania it will cost you about 5,100 euro. This is an estimation that I made, but basically it shows how it is the situation, because with the costs of the experts that you have to pay, accountant, lawyer, etc., you reach these amounts very easily. In Romania, you pay for an accountant about 25 euro per month, but then there are many extra costs, and therefore you end up paying like in the UK or even more. So this is the situation, and in the next video we will start talking about HTML, CSS, and SAS. See you next.